Okay, hi, and this is the next in the series of the World War II concrete series that I've been doing. This is the visit we went to Basingstoke Canal last year, and we'll give you the dates in a minute. So it's at 51 degrees, 15:32.7 minutes north, or 0:52:059 west. So put those two together, you'll find the place. And as ever, I'm very interested in the anti-tank side of it. So it's more this initial series is looking more for the cylinders rather than pillboxes, but we happen to found a number of these things. So once again, there are various resources you can look at. Google Maps will show that in a minute. That's just to get your bearings. Traces of War is pretty good. The pillbox study group, Tim Denton has done a lot of work in that area and written a book, which we'll just show in a minute, and various other places in Crookham. Some mention about it in the Sea Lion, Operation Sea Lion, which is where Germans were expecting to invade England. The Good Reference Finder, we're going to cover one of Tim's mentioned places in another video when we look at Crondale, and you'll see these areas are very close to each other. And it's just to say that oftentimes when you get these SU references, they're quite inaccurate. So actually, where Tim says the place is and where it really is are two different things, yeah. Or at least from my perspective, maybe I'm wrong. Who knows? And then, of course, my maps I look at, and then the EDOB. And we didn't have this resource at the time, but it is a pretty good reference. So let me see if I can find the. Here we are. So the Google Maps area, it's on this Crookham Wharf, rather. You can park it as a little car park there. Some nice pubs up here, actually, if you want that sort of thing. And I mark on the map where we've seen stuff approximately. So there's some stuff either side of here, more up here, and we'll be covering them in the video. So EDOB is the definitive reference. And if you find stuff that is not an EDOB, and we'll mention that in a minute, then you should mention it, and Steve Thompson or someone will add it in. I asked my friend Richard to do it. He's the recorder. I don't use Facebook. And one thing about the EDOB, it always shows north here. So you can type Crookham Village, and then you'll find you can move to the area. So you see there was a series of pillboxes and defence lines going this way. Um, and then what we did, we walked around here. Now, there's a set of pylons that come in, and we'll cover this later when we look at U-shot. You can see the edge of it there. Very important area here. So you can't easily get to this side, or at least we didn't think you could. And you'll see that there's a big substation here. An awful lot of power lines run out. So this must have been quite important. I don't know if it was there at the time, but I guess it must have been because it seems pretty clear. And there's also pipelines here for gas and oil. So you'll be presented there, and then I'll show you some photos. And some of this stuff is really hard to find, yeah, for my colour blindness. And we went at different times of the year. I cover that. And we walked here initially and then came back because it rained a lot. Take a brolly. Another day we came down here. We parked up this way somewhere. There was a pub here, and you can walk around. And then there's some pretty neat ones just off the canal. And there is one. I don't know if it's marked here actually. It's not that road. Maybe it's that one there. It's just off the beaten track. I'm hesitating because there's a bridge, and I think it's over here somewhere. So maybe I think there is one that isn't marked in the right place, unless we came round here. That might be actually. Yeah, I think that's it there. Sorry, I'm getting muddled. We came all the way around there, so we went quite a way. And the whole point is to get fit as such. So what you'll find is that the Traces of War gives you some information. You can zoom in, and it's quite a good reference. Tim and the other guys have written. So this one here is something that we found, and someone joked about the Pink Panther, and I'll put this in a later video. But you see, Tim says this is at 786,501, which I think is the nearest 100 meters. Okay, so if you stick that into the grid reference finder, you can then say to it, show me on Google Maps where it is. So let's do that. Yeah, where's it gone? So this is for another video, but it will show you on Google Maps where it is. See me on my internet's working, and I've marked up where I think it is. So Tim says it's there, but it's within the net 100 meters, and actually it's over here somewhere. So you can follow a reference and not find stuff. And this is pretty dense woodland, so you'd be frustrated looking for this thing here. But here again, this is one where Tim talks about. I think it's Tim. Let's have a check. This rather unique design, yeah. I'm sure it's Tim. Yeah, Tim Denton. There we are. And in the sea line, there's a mention there, yeah. So there's some pretty good stuff you can find online if you look at this stuff. So let's get back to the video as such, and I'll put these resources in the description. So we went initially August, we came back in September and again in October, and it rained a lot that year. Okay, I mean, lockdown was beginning to happen on and off in these areas. I think later in October there was some, and at various points you were allowed out. So we took the idea of walking on out a place which isn't very well populated, so it's quite good. There is a car park at Crookham Wharf. There's only a few spaces, and there are two sets of cylinders there. The standard sort of dragon's teeth that we showed you at Guildford, if you look back at my other videos, but also some really bespoke ones, which are effectively sewer pipe with a doming of concrete on top. There's some mine sockets in the bridge and various pillboxes, and hopefully you'll see from the pictures that come up and then the videos, some of these are really hard to find, yeah. And again, take your time. I'm trying to get fit, and actually I think I'm getting less fit as time goes on. And I was really interested in the teeth and the various designs. And as we showed you earlier, the EDOB tells you where things are. If you find something that isn't in the right place, go on to the Pillbox Society on the uh, Facebook and remind them that in fact there is something new, and they're very good. Steve Thompson will change things for you. This is Tim's book. It's a nice read. But again, just like what I said earlier with the SU references and the Crondale Tower, I didn't actually find a lot of the places from this book. I knew that they were there. It was investigation that found them, and later EDOB makes it easier. So here's what you get with. Again, I'm sort of red-green colorblind. This concrete, after a while, you get license growing, so it goes green. So somewhere here, I think, yeah, there's one there, one of the standard shapes, dragon's teeth. You see the cylindrical ones are there, and it's a nice vista. You can see the rain and the fish there at this time of year. So they're quite substantial, the teeth here. They were trying to obviously put a stop line in. A couple of pictures you get from the bank. So these, again, like the standard ones you see in Guildford and Waverley, places like that. Then we came across a pillbox on the other side, so we zoomed in. I don't think you can get here, but I'm not absolutely certain. And you see it's all covered in trees. So that one is relatively easy to see, but we'll cover. There's some here. This is by the power pylons, and there are some lines and cylinders hidden there on the other side of the bank, and I don't know if you can walk there. Here's what I mean. These are like sewer pipe with a dome set of concrete in them. I tried to get a reflection of it. I'm not a very good photographer, as you can see. And there's more there. Look, you see how they've got all the green on top. You can hardly see them. Oh, sorry. So you can hardly see these things. They blend in pretty well. And there's more of them there on the bank. Now, here's what I mean. I can just about see there's something there. Maybe your eyes are better than mine, but there is a pillbox in there, and it's all got covered in this green lichen, so it's quite hard to see. Very thick undergrowth, and I'm pretty certain in the book Tim explains he and some volunteers came and cleared all this. Don't clear pillboxes on your own accord. Get permission, because you could be accused of damaging an ancient monument, and you don't want to get a criminal record for something really stupid like that. So again, you see, these things are quite hard to spot, for me at least, and this is why my wife's very good at spotting things, and she tells me about the nature in the area too. And you see, they put these little hooks on top to make them easier to manhandle into place. Um, and again, over time, it's taken on the lichen or whatever. So here's another pillbox that's kind of off the beaten trail. There was a lot of trees felled when we first went in August, so I think the Forestry Commission or whatever, the local council were cutting stuff down. The uh, canal group. These, I think, are what they call mine sockets. They also used to put bars in them, but I think they were sort of blowing things up or whatever. So there's more there, and Tim explains more in his book, yeah, which is well worth a look. So here's another pillbox. You see they use the brick as the shuttering material It isn't made of brick. Some people say, hey, it's made of brick, that wouldn't withstand anything. No, 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 no. The brick is just a shuttering because they were running low on wood in World War II. When they did have wood, they started to use it to make mosquito planes or whatever. So again, various pictures of the embrasures and the field of view. This one's got some sort of interesting heart thing on it. There's a better view of it there. Don't know if it's because by the river heart or just people remembering people's sacrifice or someone just deciding to do it. And you can go in some of them. They're a bit dank. Sometimes people have treated them as a convenience, so really avoid that and take your. I mean, it's enough to take your hand wash at the best of times in this current climate, but you really need it in some of these. Now you see, we went back another day; it was much more sunny, so you get a really nice view. And this one's right by the towpath, quite easy to find, but most are hidden. And I don't think we found all of the ones that Tim put in his book, but I guess we haven't been back with EDOB yet. So I was sorry, I wondered what that was a moment ago, and it turns out to be my zip of my jumper. Yeah, so I thought, what the hell is this? A big tank track or something here from a Sherman? But it isn't. So you see, this one's quite well. I mean, I don't know if it's sunk down. The embrasure is very low at that point. Um, and if you climb up on the bank, you can kind of get inside some of them. But again, they've done a job of clearing this one. But always do it in a properly supervised set. So then there's this beautiful bridge here, and you can see on the other side are a load of cylinders, so you can cross over the bridge and get a much better view of them. We'll go back to that in a minute. Here's some more pillboxes, more mine sockets, and there on the other side are the improvised um, tank blocks or whatever. And I think the many of the bridges were mined ready for demolition in case uh, anyone was to invade. And I guess they put these little poles here through them to allow them to be moved a bit. So you can see it's like a drain pipe with a doming, quite an interesting doming. And then at various points they go onto some private land. That's why I think you can't just arbitrarily walk around the other side. Try to get an atmospheric picture there, but I'm not very good with pictures. So there you can see they were put on pretty substantial bases. Yeah, I mean that's a hell of a lot of concrete there. And we were running low on concrete, which is why I think they moved from these lines to islands because they knew they were running out. So then you can find some more pillboxes up in the middle of nowhere. I have a feeling this is one of the ones that was off the beaten trail. I think at the beginning I said that I didn't think it was on the map, and in fact, then I showed you it was further round, and I think it's this one. And because it's off the beaten trail, oftentimes they're cleaner. I mean, you can see just on the right here. Let me just highlight it. Some. I don't think that's a branch. I'm pretty. Oh, there it is. It's metal. Sorry, that's a branch, but this is metal coming off the side where a canopy would have gone over for camouflage nets. And here we go. We zoom in on it. So yeah, this one was off by one of the bridges, and really great condition for a pillbox. And there you can see more of the cam net stuff, and still a bit of barbed wire there. Whether that's original, I don't know. Probably not. And yeah, it's in very good nick, to use a phrase, and really quite interesting. You don't see these on most of the other pillboxes. Whether after the war people cut them off because they could use it for scrap metal, I don't know. But it's certainly part of the design of the ones here. And this one we saw hiding in a field, and there's quite a few like this. So you can plot on your map, and you see that they're every n meters, 100 meters or so, and you can then say, well, there must be one over there. And if you look hard enough, you can see indeed it's there, particularly when the vegetation has been cut down, or if you go in winter time. Um, and you can get a bit closer to some. Some are on private land, and there's nothing you can do to get close to them. But just walking and looking at them is my thing. Yeah. This one you can see has still got the metal shuttering there. Oh, go back a second if I can do that. So he's still got the metal shuttering, and this was one that was again off a bridge and up a bank. And I think in the video I explained in a minute, I tried to climb that bank and I wasn't doing very well. My wife said, "Don't do it, Steve," and she was right because I'd have fallen down. And there isn't a lot of runoff, so if you fall down, you're likely to fall straight into the canal. Yeah, so try and avoid that. So once again, I'm going to show some field videos in a minute. Um, if you only came for the location, we put that in the first slide, and I think this is a really great place to walk. And if you, now that things are opening up, you can go for a pub lunch or whatever you want to do there. And I think it's a great location. They've done a great job of tidying up the canal there and making it accessible. And there's a lot more along further bits of the canal. So yeah, that's all I want to say at this stage. Please enjoy the videos, and thank you for watching. So this one's off the beaten trail. It's got all these bits of metal off it, which I'm assuming is to camouflage off it or something. And it's actually quite neat inside, but very dark. I don't know if you get me light. So yeah, we've got bits of metal in here. You can see that. It's quite clean. This one's got a shutter on it. Little bits of metal coming out. What could they see across that field? I don't know if we can see out there. Wow, what a view. This one is just off the bank of the canal, but you best to walk up. There's a bridge. I'll look it up in a minute what it's called. Walk up the bridge, and then there's a footpath, because I tried to climb the bank and my wife said that was stupid. And once again she's right. What's this one? It's quite cool. Oh, too close to the bank. What is it protecting from here? From this direction it's looking across the canal. There's a very big tree, but I suppose they were sitting near these pylons. Maybe to protect the infrastructure. From over here is looking at the nice farmhouse. So yeah, so we're looking from this side. Close. I'll make that smaller or not. Yeah, I can, good. Side. It's very dark. Hello, hello, hello. You can see the embrasures there. Look, there's a little slot where you put your iPhone. That's very forward thinking. And another one over here where you put your iPhone. Cool.